Today on the newscast, Israel carries out airstrikes against an Iranian weapons shipment inside Syria. Is this the opening salvo in a coming larger conflict between Israel and Iran? Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, welcome to the newscast. A very busy weekend once again in the world's most chaotic and strategic region, the Middle East. And it all pretty much revolved around that shadowy, sinister Iranian regime. First, some breaking news overnight. We told you about these massive protests inside Iran now for over a month. Well, according to Iranian state TV, security forces have arrested over 76 people in the city of Isfahan in western Iran. That's near the Syrian border. They are calling these people counter-revolutionaries. This comes after they held a protest at the university there and were chanting death to the dictator and woman, life, freedom. So clearly these protesters are fed up with the mullahs who run Iran with an iron fist and know not just the current president Ebrahim Raisi, but the entire political religious establishment that has ruled Iran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Folks, these protesters are going all the way to the top. They want it all cleaned out. And I would not be surprised if more and more Iranians begin to take this position, come to this conclusion that only a complete overhaul, a regime change in Tehran is the only way to go. But what does the regime do when its people rise up like this? Crackdown. And we saw that yesterday as well. State TV announced the arrest of over 76 of these protesters. Now again, this is according to the regime. So I would imagine the actual number is much higher. But folks, make no mistake, this is a major development. These protests continue to spread across Iran and the regime is cracking down. By the way, remember last week, the internet was cut off for several days in Iran. The mullahs could not allow the rest of the world to see how brutally they were cracking down on these protesters. The world did see many videos like this one of security forces beating protesters with batons and, yes, even killing protesters. What you're looking at on the screen right now is just one example. We've shown many others here on the newscast. Security forces beating up and arresting protesters in the streets of Tehran and other major cities inside Iran. Again, the regime doesn't want the world to see this, hence they shut down the internet. It is a police state, and any kind of dissent against the regime, even something as simple as chanting woman, life, freedom, will get you arrested and in some cases killed. Meanwhile, speaking of Iran and the Iranian regime, Israeli fighter jets carried out airstrikes against Iranian sites in northwestern Syria near the city of Aleppo. Now, according to Syrian state media, they targeted weapons depots. Now, what kind of weapons were these Iranian weapons depots containing? Well, reportedly, they were surface-to-surface missiles, precision-guided missiles, PGMs for short, that would be used to target Israel. You see, the Iranian regime is hell-bent on Israel's destruction, and these PGMs would certainly do the trick. They can hit targets with great accuracy and great precision, hence the name precision-guided missiles. And folks, that is exactly what the Iranian regime is looking to do, hit Israel with great accuracy and great precision. These missiles can reach areas deep inside Israel, deep inside the Jewish state. They would completely circumvent Israel's missile defense systems like Iron Dome and could hit major population centers. So needless to say, Israel acts preemptively and carries out airstrikes in Syria targeting these Iranian weapon shipments. And it seems like that's what happened last night. No casualties reported on the Israeli side. Reportedly, some Syrian soldiers were injured. But hey, why Syria? Why does the Iranian regime feel so comfortable transiting these weapons through Syria? Well, look, the Assad regime is firmly in the pocket of the Iranian regime. It is basically a proxy of the Iranian regime. They do their bidding. They let them transit weapons through Syria, through their country. And what Iran is doing, surprise, surprise, is taking advantage of the chaos in Syria over the past decade to push into that country to set up shop there and use Syria as a launching pad from which to attack Israel. Not only with these precision-guided missiles, but also with those precision-guided bombs that we have talked about so much here on the newscast, PG bombs. Iran has thousands of these in Syria and Lebanon at Israel's doorstep. Folks, can we expect more airstrikes like this to happen? In my view, yes. Will this lead to a larger conflict between Israel and Iran? I believe eventually it will. Look, Israel is striking Iran and Iranian assets all throughout the region: Iraq, Syria, Yemen, even Afghanistan, where last month in the first week of September, Israel reportedly carried out an airstrike against an Iranian target in Kabul. That's right, in the capital of Afghanistan. Iran is feeling it. Israel is sending a message very clearly that they will not allow Iran to transit weapons through Syria to harm Israelis. And the prophetic books of the Bible tell us that this will all culminate in a day, the day of the Lord, when Israel will face off against the likes of Iran and its various jihadist allies in a great northern war. But before that happens, I believe there will be smaller conflicts, more flare-ups like we saw last May with that war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. I believe there will be more of that in the lead up to the major conflict, the war of Gog and Magog that is coming. Stay tuned, stay in prayer. God is in control. Thank you so much for joining me here today on the newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey, everyone, thanks for checking out the newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for new episodes every weekday.